Welcome back to OT Sports. Today we got our ACC conference tournament predictions. If you include this video, there should be about 22 other conference tournament prediction videos on the channel. We're doing all 32, so we're going to get to the rest as the week goes on. So if you're new around here, make sure you go down and subscribe if you are interested in college basketball. But not only do we have college basketball content, we do college football, NFL, NBA, and MLB. So if you are interested in any of that, make sure you go down there, subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed, turn on the noties to make sure you don't miss out when we upload any of our videos. But let's get into this bracket. So we got 15 teams. Real quick, just wanted to say thank you guys for the support recently. It's been really, really nice to see, and I really appreciate it. So thank you guys. You are the best. And as always, my Discord and X are linked in the description. You could join that, follow that, whatever you'd like to do. But now, let's really dive deep into this bracket. So the ACC is definitely going to be a multi-bid league. UNC Duke for sure locks. They're going to be at least top 4 seeds. Both of them, UNC might get a 1 seed. Duke might end up all the way at a 3, maybe even a 2 if they end up winning the ACC. Clemson is probably locked in at this point. Virginia probably in, but they are a little bit close to the bubble. Wake Forest is going to need to do some winning. And same with Pitt. Both of them are on the bubble. Wake Forest definitely has a better chance to get in, but they will definitely need some work to go ahead and get themselves into the tournament. But enough with the teams who should make it. Let's figure out who is going to win this conference. So starting off with the 12 versus 13 seeded game, Notre Dame and Georgia Tech are neck and neck in KenPom. Notre Dame is 2 spots higher than Georgia Tech. They have the 27th ranked defense, which is really carrying their KenPom resume. But Georgia Tech is the more well-rounded team here. They're 140th in offense, 138th in defense. Ultimately, the more well-rounded team is typically who I'm going to go with in these matchups. Georgia Tech also has one of the toughest schedules in the country. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know. They have a win over Duke. I got to go with Georgia Tech here, but Notre Dame's defense could definitely win them a couple games in this tournament. I wouldn't be shocked. 10-seeded NC State taking on 15-seeded Louisville. Louisville is just abysmal. They're by far the worst team in this conference. I think NC State should have no troubles here, and I think they'll be able to take care of business and end up beating Louisville. I mean, yeah, like I said, Louisville's just very bad. And NC State is a pretty solid team themselves, so I'll go ahead and take NC State here. 11-seeded Boston College taking on 14-seeded Miami. Similar to Notre Dame and Georgia Tech, they are one spot. I mean, they are right next to each other in KenPom. Boston College at 95th, Miami at 96th overall. Miami, really disappointing season. I had them finishing 2nd in the preseason in the ACC. They're all the way down at 14. Very just a disappointing year for them. Finished at 15 and 16, and yeah, I mean, just a very big disappointment. They had a pretty tough schedule, but that's not, any excuse. They should be doing better than this. Like I said, this matchup is similar to Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. Miami is the more well-rounded team, 91st in offense, 113th in defense. Boston College, 72nd in offense, 135th in defense. Ultimately, I am going to go with Miami. I know they've been disappointing this season, but I think they'll be able to get at least one win in this tournament. They have a very talented team, and they are the more well-rounded one in this matchup. So I'm going to go ahead and take them here. Now, moving back up to the top, Florida State as the 9 seed, Virginia Tech as the 8 seed. And Virginia Tech is actually one of the higher-ranked teams in this conference. They're actually the 6th highest KenPom team, which I didn't realize. 18 and 13 on the year, 32nd in offense, 99th in defense. That's a very solid resume. They and they've played a pretty tough schedule too. So good for Virginia Tech. Good for the Hokies. Florida State is very solid as well, though, all the way down to 82nd, but 101st in offense, 72nd in defense. Both these teams are very solid, but I am going to go ahead and take Virginia Tech here. They are just, I didn't realize how good they were. I think they could potentially give UNC a run for their money in that game just because of UNC's long break before they play that game. Virginia Tech is actually a sleeper team in this conference for me, so I'm going to go ahead and take them over Florida State. Wake Forest as the 5 seed, taking on Georgia Tech, and Wake Forest needs a win here bad. They are on the bubble. They're on the wrong side of it, too. They need a win more than ever. I think they go out here and they get it. They're one of the, they are 26th in KenPom in the country. Very, very good. 27th in offense, 49th in defense. But recently, ever since they went out and beat Duke, they have been struggling. I believe they've lost 4 of their last 6 games. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, they need a win bad. I think they'll be able to get it over Georgia Tech, but even then, I don't think that's enough to get in the tournament. I think they're gonna definitely beat Pitt, and then potentially have to beat UNC, and then they will probably get in. But even a win over Pitt might not be enough. So we'll see how far I have them going. 7-seeded Syracuse taking on 10-seeded NC State. I went back and forth on this one. NC State is actually a little bit higher in KenPom. They 76th in offense, 76th overall compared to Syracuse's 79th. They have a little bit of a better offense, but a little bit of a worse defense. Syracuse is the more well-rounded team, and I always, for some reason, take Syracuse to go far in, their conference tournament, and if they get into the NCAA tournament, I always take them to make a little run. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Syracuse. They're just, I've been high on the well-rounded teams, and I'm gonna stick with that. Syracuse is one of the more well-rounded teams in this conference, so I'm gonna go ahead and take them. Clemson as the 6th seed, taking on 14th-seeded Miami. Miami, very disappointing season. I think they actually could win this game. I wouldn't be shocked if they pulled it off. But Clemson at 24th in the country in KenPom, 21-10 on the year, 21st in offense, 57th in defense. They've actually played a very tough schedule to go along with that too. I got to go ahead and take Clemson. At certain points in the year, they were in the top 15 of the AP pool. They're a very solid team, and a lot of, bracketologies actually have them as like a 5 seed. I don't know if I would have them that high, but they are definitely a very good team, and they are a team I think could make a run. I've been high on Clemson since the start of the year, so I'm gonna go ahead and take them over Miami. Moving back up to the top, now we're into the quarterfinals. UNC, the 1 seed in this conference, just coming off a huge win on the road against Duke, taking on Virginia Tech, and this is the reason I think Virginia Tech could definitely win this game. UNC coming off a huge rivalry win, and they will have to have quite a bit of a break, almost 5 days. I think it actually might be 5 days. Virginia Tech will have won the day before, and they will come into this game with all the momentum in the world. Virginia Tech has made a run in the ACC tournament and actually won it. I don't think that was last year, but the year before that, I believe. So Virginia Tech's made runs like this before. Last time they did it, they were a 7 seed. Now they're the 8 seed, so it's going to be a little bit tougher. I think they very well could do it. Like I said, they're top 6 in this conference in KenPom rating. I got to play it safe and go with UNC just because, UNC has been so good all year. They're 25-6, 8th in the country in KenPom, just outside the top 25 in offense and 5th in defense. You just can't go wrong with that. UNC, RJ Davis will go out there and drop 40 if he needs to. Armando Bacot's very good. Cormac Ryan. They just have so many guys. Harrison Ingram. I got to go with UNC, but I wouldn't be shocked if Virginia Tech did pull this off. But UNC is still fighting for a 1 seed, so I think they're going to want to go out there and get it. 4-seeded Pitt and 5-seeded Wake Forest. Now, this is a bubble game. Pitt is kind of on a little bit more towards the outside of the bubble. Wake Forest still has a chance. Pitt, they'll probably need to win the conference tournament to get in, but I think they have a shot to. They're the 5th highest ranked team in KenPom in this conference. But Wake Forest, realistically, they have, a much better shot at making the tournament than Pitt if they were to not win the conference. I think they go out there, they're hungry, they need a win, and they're very, very, very solid team, like I said earlier. inside the top 30 in offense, inside the top 50 in defense. And yeah, they need wins. They need some more boost on their resume. I think they'll be able to beat Pitt, setting them up with a date against UNC in the semifinals. 2-seeded Duke versus 7-seeded Syracuse. This is a bit of a rivalry game, I think. Or I might be getting that mixed up with UNC Syracuse, but I mean everyone in conference is kind of a rival. Syracuse, like I said, I always tend to pick them to go far and make a run in these tournaments, but I can't go against Duke here. I mean, they just got so many guys: Kyle Filipowski, Jeremy Roach, Jared McCain. They did just lose, but I mean they're still top 10 in the country in KenPom, 24-7, 7th in offense, 23rd in defense. I mean, similar to UNC, I just can't see them going out in the first round, and I'm not so sure that Syracuse is even capable of beating Duke here in this game anyways. I think Virginia Tech could beat UNC, but I don't know if Syracuse could beat Duke just based on the matchup. 3-seeded Virginia taking on 6-seeded Clemson, so Clemson is actually quite a bit higher than them. They're 21st in offense, 57th in defense. Virginia, though, that defense, I mean, 7th in the country. They can definitely do some work here, but 189th in offense. That is just abysmal. Virginia is probably the most boring team to watch in the country just because of how bad their offense is. They don't score very many points at all. I'm going to go with Clemson. They're more well-rounded. This will probably be a defensive game, but Clemson's offense is just, they're good enough to score enough on Virginia's defense. P.J. Hall is a great player. I got to go with Clemson here. I think they can pull this one off. UNC taking on Wake Forest. Now, like I said, Wake Forest needs this win here. They need it bad. I mean, they need nothing more than to win this game. I think if they were to win this game, they would secure a spot in the NCAA tournament. And they are a very solid team, and I think they're capable of doing so. But UNC's fighting for a 1 seed. If they win this conference tournament, I think they will have locked up a 1 seed. That 4th 1 seed is wide open. The first 3, I mean, UConn, Purdue, Houston, all going to be 1 seeds no matter what. But that 4th number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament is up for grabs still. UNC, Tennessee, and Arizona all you could make an argument for. I think UNC is just the better team here, and I think they come out and win this one. And I think they get themselves to the ACC championship. 2-seeded Duke taking on 6-seeded Clemson. I think Duke is the overall better team, but man, P.J. Hall, he can go out there and win you a game. I think that's what he does in this one. I mean, he's just a great player, and Clemson is a very good team, very underrated team. Honestly, I mean, I don't want to say underrated, but like they're very high in bracketologies and a lot of brackets I'm seeing them as like a 5 seed. I think they're more towards 7, but for some reason, I don't feel like anyone's talking about them that much. I don't know what it is. It's a weird situation. I mean, they're going to make the tournament no matter what, but like I said, I mean, P.J. Hall is just a phenomenal player. He's averaging almost 20 a game, and Joseph Girard is very good as well. I mean, this Clemson team is silently, but not really silently, doing very well this season. I think they go out there and upset Duke. I'm not the highest on Duke this year, so I think it can't just be the 1 versus 2. I mean, I would love to see UNC Duke Part 3, but I think Clemson gets it done, and they go to the ACC championship. But in the end, I think this is UNC's tournament to lose. They've proved it to me. They've beaten Duke twice. No other team in this tournament really compares to UNC. A couple months ago, UNC was going to be my pick to win it all. I'm not there anymore, but I still do very, very much like this team. RJ Davis is probably the 3rd best player in the country, and they have a very experienced team. Like I said, Armando Bacot, he's amazing. Harrison Ingram, for them has been really, really good this year. Cormac Ryan, he's a great shooter. He can get hot at any moment. I mean, yeah, this UNC team, they're just a really good team. I mean, those four guys right there are just very solid players. I really like this UNC team. I think with this win, they will have secured the fourth number one seed. Although, if Tennessee and Arizona go out there and win the ACC and the Pac-12, then it might be a little bit of a tougher discussion. But we will see. It'll all play out. You guys can go check out the Pac-12 video. May or may not be posted tonight. We will see if I have enough time for that. Probably tomorrow. Same with the SEC. But speaking on that note, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you go down there, leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like I said, all 32 college basketball conference tournament predictions will be uploaded within the next 2 or 3 days here. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And I will see you guys in a little bit with the Big 12 conference tournament predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed this one.